Hey guys, welcome back to our live Seller Sessions Daily. Today I've got with me Ellis, Lazar, Liran, Janella, and Brent here. Am I missing anyone? That's everyone. Yeah, so that's everyone today. So I'm going to allow everyone to go around the room and introduce themselves whilst I just share across the group. So starting with Ellis, do you want to give a little bit of background on you?
Yeah, hi, my name's Ellis. I work at Databrill with Danny. We founded the company together, helping with PPC, and we do a lot of work in algorithms and analysis and statistics with that. Hope you enjoy today's broadcast with all of us.
Excellent. And next up, Lazar.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Danny, for inviting me. I'm the owner of Seller's Alley, Amazon dedicated PPC agency. We are a small group of people that manage a small group of accounts and fully dedicated to all of them. We prefer using bulk files and Excel spreadsheets more than most of other different tools. So yeah, basically that's in a couple of sentences.
It needs a little introduction, but Liran Hirschkorn, do you want to share?
Hey, Danny, thanks for having me on. Liran Hirschkorn. I'm president of a company called Zon Marketer, basically helping you do marketing, advertising, selling on Amazon, and we're bringing on some off Amazon opportunities as well. Thanks for everybody for watching. I mean, come on, let's face it, you have nothing else to do right now, so let's just get on and watch and enjoy the show. We're going to talk.
Excellent. Janella.
Hi, I'm Jelena, the founder of Amazonia PPC, which is an agency dedicated to PPC campaign management and SEO on Amazon for Amazon sellers. And I'm here to share with you everything that we've learned in the past week with PPC management in crisis situations.
Excellent. And finally, Brent Zaradnik.
Good summary. Yeah. Hey, Brent here from AMZ Pathfinder. Much like everyone else doing Amazon PPC, specifically in the North American and EU markets since 2015 now. I also hope to share some insights that we've kind of gleaned from the past week and this constantly evolving, very unsteady situation we find ourselves in as service providers, but also sellers on the marketplace. So
sounds good.
Exciting times.
Cool. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's start. I want, if you guys out there, leave your comments in the comment box. You can see it going across the bottom of the screen now. We'll answer all your questions. What I want to do is go around and ask each member to give a strategy currently that people should be employing on their account, because there's 5 or 6 of us here. It'll give you different variants on what to do. Some of the strategies are going to be based around taking a massive advantage of the market, what's going on, depending on the type of products. And some might be that you'll need to back off because you don't have necessity style products as well. So Ellis, do you want to give the audience your feedback?
Sure. So I'll limit it to one particular thing to start out with, and see how the discussion evolves. We see very different impacts for our different clients, and for some clients things have gotten easier because their competitors have dropped off, perhaps both in terms of or not only in terms of running out of inventory, but even the ones who have inventory have reduced advertising, and so their cost per clicks have gone down, and they have fewer competitors. So that's it. That's happening for some clients. For other clients, things have gone really bad, and fortunately, that's the minority of them. And among that minority, the majority of it's just that they've run out of stock, and they're not going to be getting it back anytime soon. We have, however, seen one thing in particular. This was the most important thing among our clients to look out for, and that is Amazon's auto and broad and non-exact match campaigns are sending us a lot more impressions this year than they were the same time a year ago. And a lot of these impressions are just useless.
Right.
And so what's happened with some of our clients is that even though competition has gone down, their costs have not gone down. And instead, Amazon is now showing all sorts of bad ads. So for some clients, the cost has gone up. Amazon is just showing way more ads on stuff that they shouldn't be showing it on.
Yep. Makes sense.
And so there, it definitely is worth taking a look to see if that applies to you, especially looking at the auto and broad campaigns and seeing if your conversion rate has dropped significantly in the last week or two. And just in that case, I wouldn't even bother reducing bids. I would just pause those campaigns for now. We've found that they're getting so much bad. So for certain clients and certain products, so many bad clicks, it's not even worth the effort to try to optimize those over the next week or two or whatever. So I guess I'll wrap it up there, and maybe we'll have a second round or so, but I'll be happy to pass it on to the next.
Cool. We'll go to Lazar. Liran, I think there might be a bit of background noise where you are. Would you mind just muting for a sec? It might not be you, but I'm not sure. I can hear clicking and stuff. Lazar, do you want to go next? And then we'll come to you, Liran, after.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Alice about automatic campaigns and broad mesh type. It's going crazy these days. What we see at this point, we have like two different groups of sellers that are in essentials and sellers that are not in non-essential product groups. What happened yesterday, Amazon increased shipping time to almost a month, so a whole bunch of ASINs in certain accounts, sometimes not all of the accounts, not all of the ASINs in the account, but like a certain amount are shipped for April 21st or something like that. So that's affecting sales a lot. So we can see a lot of window shoppers now. People are looking, but they're not buying. So that's one of the biggest challenges at this point to optimize by conversion, because a lot of people are just clicking and they're intimidated to buy because of that long period of shipping. And that's something that is affecting sellers at a really huge scale in our agency for literally all of them that are having those big shipping time, with a combination with automatic campaigns and broad mesh type, burning a lot of money without any like reasonable sense. We strongly suggest checking search term reports and what's triggering those ads to try to block it as much as possible. But it's happening so fast. Like if you have like really bad bids and if you have pretty big budgets, you can burn a lot of money just in one day for some search terms that you probably didn't even expect that you're going to be triggering like in the recent days.
Cool. That sounds good. Just want to quickly say hello. Yana, Ariana, Mark Jennings joining, Gavin Twiggs here. Just flicking for Chris Parr. Hello, Chris. Gloria. Nice to see you all. Okay, so moving on to Liran. What's going on inside of your agency, and what's your take of what's happening out there?
Yeah, so obviously, I think we need to see what happens over the next few days with cost per click, with the relationship between cost per click, conversion rates, and if your products are available to ship right now, then you should consider yourself lucky, and you're probably in a competitive advantage. Especially what I see is that some products within categories that seem to be where your competitors' shipping times are still a month out, but you are still like available, in the next week or so. That's a huge competitive advantage. So for those sellers, I would say it might be worth to, kind of double down on what you're doing, get more visibility, make sure customers can see you. But I think what we need to do is have really the next couple of days of data are going to tell us a lot about how customers are shopping now with this new normal, and how to make changes like reducing budgets, reducing bids. If people can't get your product for the next month and your conversion rates are terrible, it doesn't make sense to really pay for clicks or pay a lot for clicks. At the same time, your competition may be doing just that, and your cost per click might also go down a lot. So I think the best thing to do, like right now, based on this change that just happened this weekend, is to wait and get a few days of data, and then based on that data, make some decisions. I don't know if that's sort of Ellis or Brent, like the consensus for what you guys are seeing, but I think this change in the U.S. market literally just happened this weekend, and I think you want to sort of evaluate how your customers are shopping based on that, and then make decisions and look at cost per click.
Yeah, good advice. Over to you, lady.
Oh, well, I agree with Liran. We obviously need to wait out for a couple of more days to see what's going on. I think the safest bet to know what to do with your PPC is to follow the situation with the virus, generally speaking. Obviously, it's mostly going to be affected with the situation in the USA now unraveling for the next 2 weeks. I think that many sellers will have a lot of issues shipping out products like they had for the last couple of days, getting them into Amazon's warehouse, paying for fees because they can't sell it. Also, on the other side, we have sellers that struggle with their products not even selling or not even shipping out because they're not in that primary products category. They're not in the consumables category. So these are the ones that are just gonna have to wait out for a couple of months for all this situation to calm down and basically try and reduce spend as much as they can within this tough period. But when it comes to sellers that are in the consumable products categories, their focus really needs to be on speaking to their suppliers, making sure that they discover any possible bottlenecks in the deliveries of these products. Also, there's this layer of seller accounts that haven't been aware that their products could come in handy in situations like these that also source from China, which is actually a good thing that, China right now is the only country that has some signs of control over this virus after a couple of months. And they have shown really exceptional discipline in this last couple of months. So I'm pretty optimistic that the production will be in place pretty quickly. It already is. There's like 75-80% of factories already fully functional. So that's something that it's very brings the light to this whole story. Let's just see how the situation in the Western world unravels, because that now that the shipment's like 30 days late, there's a 30-day shipment window. There's people being distracted at home because they're with their kids. There's this uncertainty in the air, people losing jobs, which really reflects the buying power of your customers. And all of this really reflects on conversion rates. We can already see that. So PPC strategy is definitely going to be aligned to each specific situation in their respective accounts. So I'm going to talk more about what we've noticed works right now and dividing these accounts into two more specific categories, one of which being consumables and the non-consumables.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm just going to quickly say some hellos. Hello, Steve, Qasim, Owen, Regil. Thanks, guys, for joining. I know you're regulars. Paul Sheridan as well. Henrietta says, thanks for doing this, guys. You're more than welcome. I want to say thank you to everyone here giving up their time, most importantly. People watching in the feed here. Pat Taylor, hello. Ahmed, hello. Evelyn Demirov, he'll be here tomorrow as well as we talk about ranking. Joe, I can see, is here as well. A lot of industry heads in the feed. Thank you guys for joining. Brent, let's go to you next.
All right, let's see if I can pick up anything that wasn't already put down. A couple things come to mind, and I've jotted a few down here. It's one of the few times I would encourage people to really follow the news in their local area. Since we work with a lot of European accounts, Italian and French included, we have seen some really interesting data in Italian accounts initially, which is no surprise considering the kind of fever pitch that the crisis is there now. And then moving into France, where I'm coming from right now, talking to you. I myself was unable to order some stuff on Amazon this past weekend, and now there's been further limitations put on that. Coinciding seemingly with the things happening in the US, where the shipping isn't until April 21st or around that date for some products. A couple of the things I would encourage people to look at would be building out various estimates for your cash flow and different sales scenarios, like worst case, best case, medium case, and figure out how your ad spend could figure into that in the near future. So you can budget for things appropriately. Someone else mentioned the possibility of like budgets like skyrocketing and things going out. This is a good time to make sure you have caps on at like the account level, reasonable campaign caps, and then even portfolio budget caps. Those things should be in place as like safeguards, so you don't end up spending a crap ton of money like at the inopportune time of year, like right now. And anticipate volatility. Those caps will help. And the last thing I had is like split testing. Using the A/B testing thing that is available to brand registered brands with A+, that feature that is out. Now is probably not a good time to run those tests. If you're running like experimental campaign types for advertising, now is also probably not a good time to run those. So we've had to like spin down a lot of experiments and things we've had going on and like put a stop to that. Because that's, the word essential is getting used a lot, but that's kind of like non-essential, non-core campaign spend and things that made sense maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago in the US, but no longer really make sense in the face of these weird dips, valleys, and spikes and, strange things that Amazon's doing like day to day at this point. So as far as like PPC, those are the things I would think about.
If you have the ability to if you have a 3PL or if you have the ability to do merchant fulfilled, now is the time.
It's time to get your game up, yeah.
It's time to get the game up, or it's time to call your 3PL that you haven't been using for FBM. You've just been using to send stuff into Amazon to see if they are operating and if they can, if they can do that for you. That's a conversation we have today with our 3PL. Coming up to find out, can they do FBM for us and can we turn it on? And that may help offset some of this really long shipping times.
Yeah, agreed. Flipping it around a bit, what about if you've got a shit ton of money in the bank and you've got really high velocity products that are suitable for this time, which are essentials? What should people be doing here?
Buy Amazon stock.
Okay. Brian Johnson from the chat says delays are more likely triggered by carriers, not essentially FBA warehouses. A bit both contribute. Indeed.
And I'm quite worried about what's going to happen with the warehouses. Amazon simultaneously says we're going to hire 100,000 people, and then also we have people at various warehouses who have coronavirus. And then if that spreads, what's going to happen with the logistics? It's a really strange scenario.
Indeed. Anyone else want to comment here?
Well, I think.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Lazar.
Yeah, only one small thing I saw for some clients that B2B sales are okay, and like even though like the regular shipping is not working pretty well for B2B sales, shipping is more or less okay, and that's not for all the clients.
Okay. Ellis, what's your take?
I don't know what I would do with a bunch of money at this time so here's one of the things. We have a few clients who manufacture in their home country as opposed to in China, for example.
Yeah, likewise.
For them, this is, in terms of inventory, they're not having problems. At least most of them are. Some of them get like part of their supplies from China. And so then it's a question of what problems might come up there. But if you know that you're going to be waiting for a long time till you can get your next delivery, and you have a bunch of money, maybe it's worth looking into alternative manufacturing places for additional security in the future. But that sort of thing doesn't happen quickly normally. So you can't just throw a bunch of money at it and necessarily get good results next month.
No, what I meant is that if you're in a situation where you've got good selling products in this current climate and you've got money in the bank, and it's about, you've got your competition, isn't it? It may be a relation in terms of your PPC and ranking. If you've got a good conversion rate and you've got plenty of stock, would you look to be more bullish? What I meant in terms of
then yes. So we are definitely seeing clients, like I mentioned in the beginning, we're definitely seeing clients benefit from this.
Yeah.
And where the competition is not selling as much, maybe they've run out of stock or they're pulling out of PPC. And so for some clients, even just on things, it's not essential products, just their normal products, that they are seeing improvements in conversion rate, decrease in cost per click. And so if you're in that situation, then it could be a great time to bring in more PPC on the keywords you want to rank for if you have good conversion rates for them, and possibly also bring in external traffic, external campaigns as well. And you might be able to, get up to a higher ranking, organic ranking on the important keywords than you've ever been before. If that's your situation, congratulations, and take advantage of it.
Yeah. Think of it like a land grab. Yeah. It's kind of like, here's the opportunity when other people are going to be vacant from this same plot, due to fortune and circumstance. Definitely don't do anything, shifty, like manipulating your prices or something, but take advantage of what you have through the normal channels. Why not boost through ads if you can? We have several clients who unintentionally are having like a small Q4 period right now, just due to the category they happen to have been in for years. Not due to any particular, action that they took in the past month or two to capitalize. It's more just like, this is what we've always done. And now we have the fortune of, having this fall into our lap. So, why not? And, so our job is to communicate with them and say, is this okay? Do you want to continue with this? Is stock going to hold? Because some of them might have had issues with China, getting things to them in the past couple months. But if they're good, then, off to the races.
Yeah. Makes sense. Does anyone else want to contribute here?
Danny, I would add that, if you have money in the bank, part of what we're seeing now is that, if it hasn't been clear, it's very clear that you don't have a lot of control with Amazon.
Yeah.
And that if you had some money in the bank, that now would be the time to go build out your Shopify site. And start thinking about what is my off Amazon? How do I make sure I have a 3PL that can, that maybe that I have a few different warehouses around the country that can ship my inventory, that when issues like this arise, and we don't know, we may never see anything like this hopefully not in our lifetimes again, but your business can be a lot stronger having more control. And that if you are in that position where right now you're, generating great profits because you happen to have, the right products at the right time, you made some good decisions, then, leverage that to build your business to make it stronger coming out of this.
Yeah, makes sense. Is anyone want to ask any questions in the comments for the guys here? Okay, so let's think about what can people do. Let's just say you don't have a pot of money in the bank and you don't have an agency. Obviously, we all run agencies. But they're sitting at home. What should they be doing there in preparation for when things do get better? Filtering search term reports, setting up different targeting for ads, expressing themselves, playing around with video. What would you suggest, starting with Lazar?
Data, generate as much data as possible now and see what's triggering your ads, what's making money, what's not making money. Take everything that might be profitable and do a good account structure. Have in mind that when I talk to my clients, everybody's saying, "Oh, I'm having a problem right now about this," but most of them don't realize that they're not alone in that problem. Like a whole bunch of other sellers are having the same problem. So when this thing passes and when everything starts to be okay once again, we need to be sure that spend is going in the right direction. Maybe we've blocked something during this period that we didn't want to work, and that overspend during this crazy period. We would like to go through all of negative keywords that we added during this period and double check everything, and maybe to give a second chance to all of them, to see all of the ASIN targeting campaigns that's one of the things that I didn't mention when we talked about what to do if you have a lot of money. Do async targeting campaigns because everybody's going to target main keywords, and that's something that you need to do in the future as well to see what's the right position for you to do bidding by placement for certain positions that are working for you. Do proper structuring and be sure that you don't mix all of the match types in the same ad group, since you're not going to be able to narrow down the search funnel.
Makes sense. Tiffany says, so is it advisable to run PPC right now doing OA and wholesale? Who wants to jump in here?
Yeah, well, I'll jump in that, I guess it depends. I'm not a huge fan of PPC on OA, unless you can keep replenishing a product, or you want to have something you can optimize over time, right? So if you're just shipping OA on stuff that's variable, that you don't have products for long term, then you're not going to get the full benefit out of PPC and optimizing a product that you have long term than you will with OA. On wholesale, it may make sense. Obviously, it depends. So if you are the only one that has the buy box, bigger benefit for you. If you're sharing the buy box, less benefit for you, because you may be driving traffic to a listing, especially if it can't be shipped out for the next month. You might be driving traffic to a listing, somebody clicks, maybe they come back later on and you don't have the buy box. So you just want to assess, and I would say definitely, wholesale margins are less than private label. So you want to, if you are going to run PPC, you want to run it accordingly based on knowing that your return is not as good, and you're not doing it to build your own asset. It's I think a much stronger case for, if you're going to use PPC right now, to do it to at least build up your own asset.
Yeah, makes sense. Any other observations? Janella, do you want to add anything here?
Yes, I wanted to quickly touch base on the previous. Can you all hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
I'm sorry, I kept hearing some noise and background noise. So basically, the previous question was, what if you have a ton of money, what to do with it in these kinds of situations? Usually, sellers who have a lot of money already have some systems in place so that they can leverage them in crisis situations like these. And basically, what I would do is make sure that I really, really capitalize on the parts of business that I can control. So basically double down on Facebook ads, make sure I drive traffic to my e-commerce website. It's non-Amazon side of your business, but still it is your business. And the relationships you build with your customers during a crisis time is going to be twice as strong as the one during those standard times. So basically customers will remember forever that you were there for them when they needed it. So if you can anyhow control your logistics during these times, then that's where I would focus on if I had the money to put into leverage in these situations. But when it comes to running PPC in smaller accounts, doing online arbitrage, or maybe some other business model, all depends whether you're in that consumer products category, you're chasing the ranking to make sure you show up for every relevant search, or you're in the other group that really waits for all this to stop. But another thing that you can also do strategically in these times is to make sure that you order stock and make sure that you communicate with your suppliers in China really clearly what is the possible outcome of this whole scenario, and what is the way for you to get that to be in stock as soon as possible for as long as possible this year, because I get this feeling that this is not just going to pass within the next 2 months. This is probably going to last. The hardships and all the delays and all of that are going to happen throughout this whole year, because this is like a global thing. It's not localized, so that once things pass in China, that doesn't mean that they won't return to China, that there won't be another virus induced delays in China or something like that. And this will definitely have effect on the pricing, the production prices, which is something I've heard some of my clients complain about. Production costs went up to 10-20% depending on which products they're looking to source. So this is something to keep in mind, that perhaps maybe you can make more savings by making bigger order quantities and making sure that you're in stock in the upcoming months than to have a faster turnaround because of the cash flow. So if you have that cash flow on your side, then making that business stability should be your first priority for this year.
Cool. Pete says, should we order more inventory to stock up or order less? Liran.
Yeah. Before I answer that, there was another question that was up before that I wanted to address because I just tested it. And it does seem to work, but it's a dangerous game, I think. So the question was, can you do merchant fulfill and then use, and then that one, and then use manually fulfill through, multi-channel fulfillment. So I just went to one of my products that isn't shipping until the end of April, but I was able to go in and do a multi-channel fulfillment order, and it does show like, March 27th, 28th, whatever. So it seems like it's possible, but you don't know at any point. Amazon can turn that off. So if you're going to do that, set out a little bit of a longer term timeline on the FBM, and you watch that thing like a hawk, because you could get caught, with your account suspended if you can't fulfill orders in time. So I have a feeling that Amazon will, if sellers start doing this, Amazon will catch on to it and put a hold to that too, because it works around everything they're trying to do right now. Anyway, so that on that, and then the other question, should you order more inventory or stock up, order less, is totally dependent on your product and your current situation. I think by Q4, it's as an opinion, I think we'll be out of it. And so if you have some products that you need to stock up for Q4, I would still get those products, but that's just an opinion. Obviously, nobody knows what's going to happen, and it's also highly dependent if your product already has demand right now based on the environment, then yeah, absolutely. If not, you have to, it's kind of a forecast game.
Yeah. Can we switch it up a little bit? It'll still be PPC related, but I want to talk, because there's a lot of people from sitting in different countries here, right? I know you're in New York, Liran, is hitting hard. We've seen the numbers. Yeah, let's be real. You mentioned about it. We should be out of it in Q4. What is your perception of what's going on at the moment?
My global perception?
No, let's start with the US, and Ellis can do Germany, and then Lazar can do Serbia. Do you see what I mean? Let's just go through our takes, because then we can see where the line is, or hopefully to help people plan ahead in the next few months.
I think we're heading into a very tough next few months.
Yeah.
Very tough next few months. I'm hoping that the peak of this will also be in the next, 2 months, and that we'll start seeing a decline. But I think people are still going to want to be careful that this doesn't start spreading again. So I think we're in for a very tough 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
That's kind of my take. But honestly, I don't know. Could be 18 months. Some people are saying.
Here's the thing: if we can keep them fuckers indoors, we might have half a chance. So if we can get these morons on the fucking planet to just stay indoors and behave themselves like they did in China, I think that'll be half the battle.
No more beach parties?
No more beach parties. Fucking idiots. Yeah. So, but the problem is with New York, it's very congested. It's very built up, isn't it? It's the same with like major cities, and that's where it's different with places like LA, where it's a bit more spread out. But yeah, I think a lot of this really does come down to the behavior. And I say this about my people in the UK as well. Not everyone's taking it seriously. They think it's the flu, and I think once we get things locked down properly, I think then we've got half a chance. If you look at what's going on with China, with there isn't no new cases. I know it's a nanny state, and I know that the militia's out on the road and they'll lock you down. It's a different mindset out of there. But I think because we have so much free will in the UK and in America and stuff like that, it's in proportion of how quick the recovery will be. China's led the way on this, and I think you're right. It's going to get worse, but it can get better. But it's going to be down to the people.
Right, Korea too, for that matter. So we have someone on the team who's there right now, and she's traveling about, seems to be fine. The number of cases is leveling off or even declining. Yeah, back to this idea of the global perspective, though. My sense is that when this tide kind of comes out, there's going to be a lot of people on the beach without their swimming trunks who are going to be left naked. So I think that probably a lot of Amazon businesses are going to fail. I think a lot of businesses, like, not to be too negative, like even in our space, are going to fail or have some serious difficulty. So this might be kind of the end of that, Amazon bull run, I guess, the last couple of years. And it's going to be interesting to see who is like left standing and who is able to withstand the storm. A little bit negative, but that's my honest take on it. Really,
but I think that goes across any business. Like businesses worldwide, it's the same thing. It's like I suppose we're lucky because we work online. As long as someone can put a hazmat suit on and deliver parcels, we're still in the game, right? But you think of the people that work manual labor and stuff like that, they've got it a lot harder than us. So I think everyone is going to be affected. But I think with online, like you said, there will be, I'm afraid to say that as much as a positive mindset and everything else, there's going to be some winners and losers, right? It's going to tip out, and it's going to be how well you can look after your numbers and what you can do to stay in business. But that's what these shows are for. Every day we'll pump these out because we want people to be positive, to give them the right information, keep their perspective, and thank you guys for giving up your time. So, Ellis, what's going on in Germany? They're a bit more sensible over there, aren't they?
So we're on lockdown. It's basically the same as anywhere else that's on lockdown. You're only supposed to go out if you need to go to the hospital or get food or walk your dog, basically. That's going fine. With regard to it being better in Q4, I think we may be in a better position. I mean, we might have gotten used to how to manage things, but there's also the extremely real possibility that the virus comes back very strongly in the winter months.
Yes,
because it'll be dampened down by the warmer weather, presumably, and then the same as the flu is bad in the winter, the virus isn't going to be gone in the winter, and so a second wave would not be surprising. And whether or not how that affects us, is left to be seen. It could be that we're then like in China, that they're prepared for this sort of thing to happen, and so they can manage it better with the factories, and that Amazon is prepared for that to happen. They can manage it better with their fulfillment. Yeah. But like Brent mentioned, what if they have 100,000 employees, but they've got people with coronaviruses in the different warehouses? So I don't know. I expect it to have I think it's more likely that it'll have a big drag down impact on the overall economy for as long as we're dealing with it, and that we'll be dealing with it. Even if we're dealing with it well, I wouldn't be surprised if we're dealing with it until a while after we have the medication and all the hospital stuff in place to manage it. And that could be a year, certainly.
Lazar, what's your take?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I agree with Alice with most of the things. One of the things that I really like about people in Amazon world is that they're all absolutely crazy entrepreneurs. And like every single one of us and all of my clients and all of the good people that are selling on Amazon, they're absolutely like oriented 100% to making money and growing businesses. So I'm pretty sure that all of them are going to find a way how to adapt and how to overcome the problem. I'm pretty sure that we're not going to beat this virus in the next month or so. Probably we're going to have another wave, just like we have it with flu. But in the next wave, we are probably going to have a medicine for it or cure for it or something. But I'm not negative about it. I'm absolutely positive about the whole situation. It's all about the mindset and not to go like in a deeper places of your mind while you're in quarantine. And I can say that as a person that is I'm on 9th day in quarantine at the moment without going out. So it's a crazy time for me as well. And like you kind of examine all the parts of yourself during this period and like see what you're built of. And I'm pretty sure that like we're going to overcome this easily.
What about you, lady? What's your take?
Yeah, me too. Kind of like slowly going crazy with the quarantine, even though we have a backyard and open skies above our heads. But yeah, when it comes to preparation for Q4, like serious preparation, I would make sure to be super informed about everything there is to know about this new virus and the possibility of it coming back. Because if it is coming back, there's another crisis waiting, and then in every crisis there's an opportunity. So maybe you can launch a brand that has, a brand that for everything related to immunity, like maybe indoors, sports gears, or maybe supplements would be tough because of the competition, but maybe something else that helps the immunity, or maybe, for doomsday preppers as your audience, or whichever it is, something creative that's that's something that's very compatible with content marketing, because people are looking for highly relevant content right now. And this everyday show that you also put up shows that there's a lot of demand for the right information. So people are going to look for the right information in the upcoming months. If you adapt your content marketing strategy to it, you might have a chance to win in Q4. And just talk to your suppliers in China, see what everyone else is sourcing, and try and discover new product opportunities that maybe you didn't think of before, and predict them for Q4 as well. It's more than likely that people will be searching for, the customers will be searching for, immunity boosting things, whatever they can get their hands on, because of the raised awareness that this might come back. So even now it might be a good product opportunity, not a product opportunity, but a good direction to think in. So maybe, your non-essential products are not selling anymore, but at the same time you can pivot in that direction of producing new products.
Yeah, I spoke to someone the other day who does 100 million a year, and basically what they're saying is they've got 95% uptime in production in China.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at, I'm going to go bullish on this. I reckon if we all behave ourselves and we learn from all these different countries, from what they put into place, and we do get the ventilators and all these things start to appear, I think we could see what happens in China, learn from that, and it could be 10 weeks from now, a slowdown. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I believe that in the winter, maybe there's an uptick again, but maybe not as powerful. But there is that opportunity to learn from each and every one of these places, because each of these countries have tried different strategies, right? In the UK, I think we've adjusted ours 2 or 3 times. So effectively, if everyone goes indoors, look at China. When did it start? I don't know exact date, but in a 10-week period, I know that only the Chinese can build 100,000 spaces in the hospital and triages and stuff. But, Elon Musk is on the way. He's got 1,000 ventilators going out next week, 500,000 masks. You've got Jack May, who's donated a load of testing kits and stuff. Facebook are actually, I think they're doing gowns, rubber gloves and stuff like that as well. So I think we should be optimistic. I mean, Liran, you're Mr. Mindset. I see your post all day long.
All right. Well, my mindset is on the fact that, at any time of crisis, there's also opportunity, and that there will be opportunity out of this. I made a post yesterday that, it's time to just show up as great human beings. That's to your customers, to your community, to your family, to your friends. Be there for them as much as you can. And I do think that, our minds are designed to take us sometimes to the deepest, darkest place. So protect, kind of like Lazar said, protect your mind from a lot of that. I think, someone here said, like, watch the local news. Like, yeah, watch the news, but don't watch too much news. Yeah. Go on social, but don't be too much on social. Like, spend your time reading some books, learning some new skills. Like, this is a great time if you're not busy in your business. Go learn ManyChat. Go learn Facebook ads. Go learn some skills that will make you stronger when you come out, on the other side of this. So, the last thing you want to do is look back and regret how you spent your time during this crisis. So, I think that's, from a mindset perspective, you want to just use your time efficiently and make smart decisions in your business. You might have to make some tough decisions in your business if you have a team, but use your time to make smart decisions and protect your mind for how you spend your time. Watching CNN all day
Will kill you.
scrolling through social media is not going to make you a better entrepreneur.
No.
On the other side of this. So
Yeah.
protect your time is I think the biggest thing. Don't get sucked
protect your
into-
time and protect your mind.
Protect your time, protect your mind. I mean, we use the word, we use time like currency, right? We spend time, we waste time. We use the word time just like currency. So how are you spending the currency that you have right now outside of money, on your business, on yourself? Don't let your mind go, don't let your body go. Like stay strong.
The other thing I've said this numerous times now, one of the biggest things I've learned over the last week or so is that in a time of crisis, people show their true colors, their true intentions. That's good or bad. And I would always say to people, what I've learned this week, look who's around you in the last week and next week. They're your ride and dies. They're the right people around you. So you might actually be purging relationships, friendships, business partnerships, customers, all those different things, and take a good cleanse there and make sure you're surrounded by the right positive people as well.
Danny, I want to say, I've had some people on my team.
Yeah.
I've had one of my PPC managers come to me and say, hey, if we lose some clients and you need to reduce pay, don't do it for me. Reduce my pay so you can pay the other guys.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That's amazing on the kind of people that are stepping up right now, that are saying, hey, I'm with you. I'm in this. We're in this together. We're going to do this as a team. These are the conversations you may need to have with your team. These are, I saw Richard Branson from Virgin Airlines. They put out a thing that, to keep employees, they collectively decided that over the next 6 months, every employee was going to take a 6-week unpaid period, right? In order to lower their payroll. So you may need to make some tough decisions in your business, but like you said, there's going to be some people right now that show up as ride or die, and some people that are not. And so these times will kind of define the kind of person that you are and that you want to show up in the world to be.
Cool. Right, we've got all lovey-dovey, fuzzy and warm and hippie-ish.
Hey,
let's do some more PPC stuff. So, what have you been doing with video ads, Liran? Let's talk about that, just in case someone can imply this into their business as well.
Yeah, video ads have been performing really, really well. We actually also started doing contextual ads underneath the bullets. We got a special access to that over the last week. So that's a new ad type that's going to be coming also. But video ads have been performing really well. So if you have access, go hard on video ads, and maybe you need towards video ads. The thing that Amazon's been doing is they've been turning on and off the desktop part of it for the last week or so. I've seen it. So you're able to get more impressions and more visibility, but they've been performing well. And what advice I'd give people is don't wait for having a pro, $5,000 video. Go create a slideshow video with like some big text and go get that space while your competitors can't, and while your competitors may be focused on, in action right now. You should go after that ad type.
Yeah. Makes sense. Who else is working with video ads here? No one? Oh, okay. Coming in, Brent. We haven't spoke to you for a while. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. But I agree with Liran. Like basically iterating, figuring out what works in a basic format and then iterating on it with video is fine. There's no need to have like Hollywood level production stuff going up first time here, because chances are a lot of the people in your same space are thinking the same thing. Oh, we have to have the perfect video. Well, shipping something and getting it out there and then iterating on the keywords and targeting and everything is better than doing nothing. And in our experience so far, for the majority of clients and campaigns, video has been very good. So, even something simple and clean and basic is better than nothing. But, ultimately, if you can't afford to get that high end, like Hollywood level thing made, eventually go for it. Yeah. So video still good. I didn't know about the contextual ads, Liran. That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's an ad type we just got access to where you've seen the ads before, but they were, I think, driven through DSP and some other mechanisms. Now it's coming to Seller Central through sponsored display contextual ads, right underneath the buy box, basically, with the title and the price. So right. we just started testing those last week.
Because one of the big things that's been a topic of conversation is the the cost per CPM, so the cost per 1,000 sponsored display instead of the CPC ones that are available in Seller Central. I mean, obviously that stuff's been in DSP for like ages or whatever, but we've seen a lot of good results with that too. Not exactly video, but something different, something interesting.
Cool. Owen says, is video still available to certain sellers in UK, and is it still in beta?
It's still in, you have to have brand registry, and it is still in beta. We have been able to get sellers whitelisted with Amazon.
Yeah.
But you need brand registry, and you need to kind of wait till you get access.
Cool. Can I just bring in, slightly changing up the gears, can I bring in Ellis? Can you explain what we can share, what we've been doing with brand analytics, which might be helpful for the audience to apply to their accounts?
Yeah, so one of the ways in which brand analytics is very relevant to the current situation, if you're seeing a drop in your sales, is you can take a look at your brand analytics rankings for say different weeks. So if you have the brand analytics report in Seller Central, you can go there, you can select which week you want to look at, and you can look at the rankings for your keywords. You can enter in some keywords and find what are their popularity ranks. And then you can compare this week to say 4 weeks ago, or whenever it is before your sales started going down, if you're having that problem. And you can then compare the popularity of the keywords. And this will give you, it's not a search volume, and it's not an order volume or anything, but just the popularity rank. And if you see that, oh, the popularity of your keywords has been dropping, that is, the popularity number has been increasing, then, or the popularity rank. So 1 is the most popular keyword, and 1 million or so is, a very unpopular one. And so that way, if you see that the popularity has dropped, that may help you feel like, oh, well, it's not something I'm doing wrong. It's, it's just demand is going down. So that could be a quick check for some things. And in general, that's a good idea across, whether it's coronavirus or anything. When you see major changes happening in your orders, then checking the popularity of the keywords that you're ranking for is a good idea. And what in general we're working with is that we're going through and using brand analytics to find competitors, your top ranking competitors, and then the keywords that they're ranking well on. And you kind of go through this, iterate back and forth. You look at a certain set of keywords, you get some ASINs. You check out those ASINs, which are really the most relevant ones. And then you look up the brand analytics keywords for those ASINs. And you can do this back and forth a few times, get a good set of keywords perhaps, and make sure that you're actually advertising on them all. But you can also get a sense for what are the actual order volumes on those. So I can give you some hints. I mean, this is something that's not available in Seller Central, but I can open up let's see. Okay, so for example, in the US, if a rank of 10,000 in brand analytics is about 30 orders a day, typical. 100,000 is you're looking at typically about 4 orders a day. 300,000, you're looking at about 1 order a day. So this is not search volume. This is like typical orders. So around 2,000, that's about 100 orders a day. And this is for the popularity rank. Of course, it's going to vary. Which keywords are up in those rankings is going to be changing, and the volume of sales at different periods of the year is going to be different. Yeah. But just as a general rule of thumb, that can kind of help you gauge what the order potential is. And so if all the keywords that you're looking at have ranks around 400,000, well, or a bunch of them, your long tail keywords, there's only about 1 order a day happening on those. How much is it worth to you to pursue it? And if your keywords are not even showing up in the brand analytics reports, they're not even getting an average of an order a day. So that's some of what we use to help.
What was the calculation you done? I know we have to be very broad with that calculation, but you was converting that to search volume. Was it in the US at 1,000 and at 4,000?
Right.
Is 4,000 is 50% of the rate of search volume of 1,000? What was the calculation?
Yeah, roughly that.
Roughly, yeah. So that's another thing that people can do. Brent, you like brand analytics. Anything that's going to be useful for the audience that they can use brand analytics for? I've got one for you, actually, contextual targeting. So let's just say that you want to do some ASIN targeting, and you would sell, for a better word, spatulas, or you find something that's more on the broad term, so it's one word. Let's just say you use the word beard, and in that list that pops down, it will be beard oil, beard wax, beard balm, clippers, all these kind of things. And then you can actually take the first 5 ASINs there and target those as well for a form of contextual targeting using brand analytics. Brent, have you got anything?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we definitely use it for that, along with tools like the Helium 10 black box or Helium 10's like extension, where you can scrape the page of results and get a bunch of ASINs, pull it out of that. We like to break those out into different ad groups. So maybe ones that have a stronger offer than your product, maybe ones that have a weaker offer than your product, more or less reviews, a couple of different ways to break that down. I've been playing around with brand analytics a lot, mostly because it's fascinating just to see how many people want to buy toilet paper. And just see that at the top, at the top of the listing, literally every day, every week. Something really going on there. But essentially, what has been interesting with brand analytics has been similar to what Ellis just talked about when you're looking at comparison. I wasn't doing it for 4 weeks. I was doing it just like week to week to see how things were changing, like where the SFR was for certain keywords, for certain products, or maybe if the ASINs for our clients were still showing up somewhere in the search for those different weeks. Because, we've gone from having like Bluetooth headphones, iPhone, all that stuff to the top 35 products by SFR being all, COVID related. Last I checked, sometime this weekend, and that's been fascinating. So, another thing is seeing new terms come onto the scene. So, we have seasonality and then we have situationality, right? So right now we're in like a situational period where people are searching for things based on their new life situation. So I think a lot of people are trying to buy toys and stuff to keep their kids amused, or like do homeschooling. And we have some clients that have products that are kind of relevant to those areas. So essentially, where are these terms now in the SFR rank? Are they showing up in brand analytics for recent weeks? Maybe people searching for homeschool stuff was like just a small niche thing before, but now all of a sudden it's like rocketed up in the US or UK. And where does that sit now? And should we start targeting those and build campaigns to take advantage of that? Because, there's ostensibly millions of kids who aren't going to be in school for a few months. And well, they're going to have to be at home, learning from home, homeschooled. It's going to be interesting. So that's just one example.
Yeah. I just want to quickly say big thank you to everyone checking in from the groups. Shout out to Amazing FBA group. Go and check that group out. Also, sourcing with Kian, Amazon FBA memes, seller chatbot, Amazon FBA renegades. Liran, you shared it. Was it to your wall or was it to a group?
I shared to my wall.
Yeah. So thank you there for everyone who's listening as well. Grateful for everyone that is tuning in. Again, I'm grateful for everyone else here giving their time. So any closing thoughts from anyone before we sign out?
Yeah, just one last thing I wanted to say earlier, but consumer spending ability is going to be really shaken presently and in the future. So there might be some markets that were a certain way before this, and after this are going to look pretty different. Obviously, we're not going to know until things shake out. But that is one second or third order consequence downstream of this, which I think is really interesting. And the other thing is, I would encourage you to bother your agency or bother your ads guy on your team because now's a really, really good time to do an account audit. You have tons of free time. I know you do. We all do. So get in there yourself, get your hands dirty, or go ask a lot of hard questions of your agency. I would expect any sellers to do that, including our own clients. Ask us some hard questions. Now's the time. Usually February, March are slow. But
thank you for that, turning up the heat, because we need that right now, don't we?
That's right. Yeah, we're all going to cook.
What I would add to that is that you're 100% right, and I'm sure all of us here are being proactive with our clients and sending messages and saying, hey, here's what's going on, here's what we recommend. And if you are not experiencing that, then you're not with the right people.
Right, your agency's sleeping on it.
Yeah. Meaning I could be probably pretty confident that the people on this call are all pro and are dealing with this head on and communicating with you. If your PPC person is not, then you should reconsider what you're doing with your PPC management.
Makes sense. Liran, how does people reach you if they want to reach out?
Zon Marketer, they can email help@zonmarketer.com. I'm also usually pretty responsive for Facebook DM or private messages.
Cool. Janella?
You can contact us through contact@amazoniappc.com.
Fantastic. Brent? I think your mic's turned off. 1 second.
Sorry. There might have been some fan noise on my computer. You can reach us at hello@AMZ Pathfinder. That comes through to me and some other people, or just come to our website and drop us a line in the contact form. We're also on Facebook, where we will sometimes respond to messages. I'm not the biggest Facebooker.
Yeah. Cool. Lazar?
Yeah, lazar@sellersalley.com. Sellersalley.com, our website, and also you can find me on Facebook or other social networks.
Indeed. And you know how to find me and Ellis is quite easy. You'll see us every day at 4:00, or me at least. I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today. Everyone that's listening out there, stay strong, keep your family safe. We're rooting for you here. We'll be back here again tomorrow. Again, we'll say thank you. Hopefully there's a lot of content here that you can go and put into your business. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about ranking. On Wednesday, I'm bringing some special guest in to protect your neck in terms of black hat. So there's a lot of people that I've been hitting my black book, and they're giving back to the community as they should. So we're in tough times, but we're going to ride this out. So I'm going to bid everyone farewell and take care.
Take care, everyone.
All right.
Take care, guys.